Hello art stars and welcome. Hope that you're doing well today. Today we're going to do a continuation of last week's session that you did with Annie. So I know that you created some really beautiful watercolour paintings inspired by David Hockney, some landscapes. And today we're going to be focusing on David Hockney's work again and taking inspiration from it. But this time we're going to be drawing with pencil. And looking at our shading and also patterns and textures that we can apply while we're creating a landscape this way as well. And like I say, still taking inspiration from his work and merging our own styles with it a little bit as well, and personalising it a bit. So what you're going to need is a pencil or two, nice and sharp. If you've got a sketchbook, that's great. If not, just paper like this is amazing. An eraser is useful in case you make a mistake, but it's not essential. And if you've got a computer to hand or phone, I presume you do because you're viewing this session now, it would be quite useful if you can pause it when I say and go online and just have a look at some things to give you inspiration. So like I say, today we're going to take inspiration from David Hockney's work, from his landscapes, and also from 19th century metal engravings. Because when myself and Annie were planning today's session, we were talking about how we could create a landscape but incorporating pattern and different textures rather than painting, so how we could build up these intricate details. And we were thinking that the examples we made were quite similar to like I say, 19th century metal engraving work, so it would be worth you having a look at those for some inspiration. So if we start, just before I made this video, I had a little play in my sketchbook. I looked at some of Hockney's work, some of his landscapes, and I chose one of my personal favourites. And I think this one's really lovely, just the feels, because it's made up of very simple shapes and lines. But if you look at the painting itself, it's just so full of different textures and patterns. The colour really makes it pop. And I was just thinking about how I could retranslate those paint textures. I used a pen in this instance. The reason I used a pen and not a pencil is I was just working in one of my personal sketchbooks. And for this one I do a lot of studies using pen. And as an artist, it's quite good to try things in different media. But today you guys will be using a pencil. I think this will lend itself really nicely as well, because we could do more shading and lighter and darker tones. But here's what I did earlier anyway. So I've retranslated the lines I've seen and the textures that Hockney's used into geometric shapes and patterns that I'd like to see on it myself. I've translated it that way. And like I said, if you've got a phone or computer in front of you, if you go onto Google Images and just type in David Hockney landscapes, then some really beautiful pictures will come up. There's a lot to choose from, so the one I've done is just one of my personal favourites. So you're welcome to work with me step by step, or just watch the video and then choose one that you like to draw. That's absolutely fine. And if it's a bit tricky, you can simplify it slightly, you can make it a bit easier, a bit less detailed. And as well, if you type under Google Images 19th century metal engraving, if you're with an adult, maybe ask them to help you with this bit while you're on the internet. So 19th century metal engraving, and if you look really closely, it's hard for you to see watching this video now, but if you look really closely at the images, if you zoom in on them, you'll see lots of very intricate little lines and dots rather than block areas of colour like black, so little lines making up the darker areas. And we want to do something similar to that on our pictures today. So like I said, we're doing a landscape. We're going to work landscape orientation, which is this way up. So remember, this is portrait, this is landscape. And we're going to start, as we always do when we're doing drawing, practicing our line pressure. And I know we do this every week. It's just really important to get into the habit of doing this and using different shades and tones when you're drawing. So I'm hoping that this is something that will naturally just go in when you've done it for a while. So just at the top of your page, just some dark pencil lines like this, please. Just a row of very dark pencil lines, doesn't matter how many, it's just to practice Then underneath some medium pencil lines, a little bit less pressure, like this. And then underneath some very light pencil lines, which are very easy to rub out, like that. And remember, for your picture, all your outlines, your drawings should be done very lightly in pencil. I'm going to do mine quite dark so you can see, but yours should be light, because then you can make any changes if you need to. And then I'll say about applying different pressures as we go. Like I say, we're going to want to have different levels of shading and different line pressures. So I'm just going to get this, I'm going to work this way up. I've turned it on the opposite side so I can't see those lines. And I'm going to start just by drawing some curved horizontal lines across. So I'm going to start sort of in the middle of the page, and I'm going to do a curved line across like that. There we go. It's quite bright in this room when I'm drawing it. I can't see it that clearly on the video, so I hold it up as I go. So I've just done a curved horizontal line across like that. And then underneath that, I'm going to do it on my left hand side. I'm going to do, it's a bit like a little hill that comes down, or a haystack I think. I'm just going to do a curved line like that. And then cut it off so it's a semicircle. Like that. And like I said, I'm working quite quickly, so feel free to pause and take a bit longer with yours if you want. It's just so it's not too long for you to watch. We keep them quite short. Then I'm going to do another curved horizontal line across like that. So we've got the two curved horizontal lines and then a little semicircle that cuts off inside of that. And then from the bottom, I'm going to do, on my left hand side, I'm just going to do a curved line down like that. Still working lightly in pencil, so just a curved line down. And even if you are working step by step with me, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. They're all going to look different because we've all got our own unique styles. Or if anything's a bit tricky and it looks a bit too detailed, you can leave it out. I'm going to do another curved horizontal line. Starts vertically, then just goes down horizontally. So we're just drawing lots of lines as fields at the moment. And then just above here, so we should have some space above the picture. Just going up to the sky, I'm just going to add on some more lines. I'm going to do another curved horizontal line across, like that. And yeah, do one more. If you've got space, do one more. If you've got more space than me, you might want to fill that up and do a few more across. So really it's all just curved horizontal lines at the moment, which are a little bit wavy. And we can go in and add a bit of detail now. So on this top one that I've just drawn here, I'm going to do like a big triangle from the bottom to the top, like that. Just filling up the space. And then inside of that, I'm going to do a series of triangles. So each one gets a little bit smaller as we go, like that. And I think it would be nice if we start doing a bit of the patterning now. I'm going to make this one a bit different to the one I've drawn before. In fact, there's a bit of room here. If you've got room here, just before I start that, we can add some little trees on. So I'm just going to do some little, you could do little ovals if you prefer, or little kind of wavy lines, or should I say flower or bush shapes like that. I'm going to do 3 of them. Or 2.5, so I'm going off the page a bit there. There we go. And I'm going to shade those in using a really, really light pencil line. Really, really light. Just get all of the white covered up on those. Do a bit of smudging if you like. Just do that on all of them. do that on all three. There we go. And then using your pencil, using a dark line, do you want to do some dark curved lines through those? So I'm showing where the leaves would be. If I do them going off to an angle, it kind of suggests that maybe it's windy and they're blowing in the wind. So just fill those with lines, or any shape that you want to do which you feel would represent the leaves well. That could be little dots or circles or lines. Obviously make the pencil line quite dark now if you've shaded it in, so that they show up over the top like that. Okay, and then we've got this triangle that we've done. So do you want to use, I'm going to use a medium pencil line. I'm just going to shade in every other line on here. So it's alternating. We've got a dark white and a dark, like that. I think I'm going to do some patterns inside there. I think I'd like to do, this is like a little field. I'm going to do some dark V shapes inside, like this. So fill it with dark V shapes. Again, you can copy me, or you could do little, to show the grass, it could be little little lines next to each other. You could shade it in, whatever you like. Whatever you feel enhances that picture. There we go. Okay. Lovely. And then I'm going to do some curved lines going across, again, down from here by these little trees. I'm going to fill in 3. Like that. And I think to show we've got a lot of shrubbery around there and little plants, trees, I'm just going to do some little spirals inside all the way along every other line. So again, you can do that. You could do some big circles if you find spirals difficult to draw. And that's going to be every other line there. So there we go, going along. I'm going to leave the next one white, and then I'm going to do the one under. Spirals nice and close to each other. Get this nice and busy. There we go. Okay, and then this space here, with my picture I've done before, I've done lots of different shape, kind of flat ovals. I think on this one, yeah, Hockney had done some really interesting textures with the paint, with different colours, fusing different colours. So I'm going to do some like that, nice and close together. Again, you can copy me, or another way you could translate it would be just some ovals or circles that aren't shaded, or just maybe some rectangular lines. Sorry, some little rectangles or horizontal lines going across. I'm just going to do that to the end. And like I say, you can personalise it a bit. It doesn't have to look exactly like Hockney's picture at the end. If we're looking at that and that's giving us inspiration, it should still resemble it, but it's fine if things are a bit difficult. So if you're drawing one and there's a lot of detail on there and you're not sure if you can fit it all in, or it's a bit complicated to draw, you might leave a few areas out of choice. Like with this landscape here I'm copying, the fields went really high to the top of the page. I've left a few of them out. so I've simplified it slightly for this, which is absolutely fine if you want to do the same with yours, or if you're drawing with me now and you think it's all a bit much to fit on, you might just have some curved horizontal lines going across. That's fine. There we go. So I've got those spots. It's still looking quite white. I think I'd like to add a bit of depth with some light grey, so I'm just going to smudge that area with my finger inside of that shape, leaving it a nice light grey. So just smudging it all the way across. There we go. Okay, and we've got this, mine's quite big, so I've got the curved line underneath. It's quite a long one. I want to fill that with, on this one I've done some horizontal lines across. I might do it a bit differently on this one, so let's try. Just going to do, I felt like they were quite, like I say, quite smooth there. I might just shade in along now so the lines are a bit more, I guess a bit more jagged, a bit more, got a bit more movement to them. Hockney's work, if you look at the lines, they tend to be quite bumpy, quite irregular, quite free. So just going from one side to the other, and we can fit a few of these in. Or you could, like me, you could just draw some curved horizontal lines across, like I did on my first one, if you prefer that style. And then I'm going to do another one. And with my second one, with the other side, I'm going to try and follow the shape of the first one. So follow shape across, where it goes down, I go down, where it comes up, I come up. And again, like I say, we try and keep the videos not too long, so I know it's quite a lot to watch, like I say, especially if you're doing your own version at home and not following me step by step. So I am working through quite quickly. If you're copying me, if you're doing the same, then please feel free to pause and just take as long as you need, because you guys, you've got longer than me now. If you're doing the art styles, you've got a couple of hours, so if you're getting really into adding the detail, don't want to rush, just pause. So when I'm doing these pictures, I can easily spend hours and hours just on one piece, just making it very, very intricate and detailed. We go 2 lines across, we're in the shape, and that's already got a lot more movement to it, I feel. The other lines were quite smooth. It's got a lot of life and movement. Top line, I'm following the shape again. And just one more. I really like that, actually. I think that's this line, like I say, it's giving it a bit of movement so it's less static. That's still. And again, like I said, it comes down to personal style, as we call it. artist handwriting. So my handwriting, when I'm creating work, it can be very, very detailed and intricate, very smooth. Yours might be different. It might be more free, looser. It's just on how you work, how you like to translate things into your own style. There we go. Again, it's looking quite white, so I'm just going to do a bit of smudging there to get the page, that area of the page, a nice light grey to add a bit of depth. There we go. Okay. What I'd like to do next. So I've got this, if you've done this too, like this little semicircle on the side there, which is a stack of hay. We want to show something indicative of the hay in there. So on this picture here, as seen on Hockney, we had different coloured lines coming down, and then I've done some horizontal lines across. So I'll do something different here. I think I'm going to do I'm going to hold my pencil nice and low, and I'm just going to do some very free wavy lines down like that. So again, you can do like me, you could do some striped lines, or you could just do lots of little lines inside, indicative of, show it's the hay, that it is in fact a haystack that you're drawing, you're translating it as. And yeah, like I say, just looking at the different textures and lines here. So we're looking at how, I'm using this word translating, and that means to take something into our own style, to translate it, to change it into our style and how we work. There we go. And I think I'm going to do some dark lines, some dark horizontal lines, just quite randomly in between pieces of hay, if you want to add that. Bunched up. Or you can just leave it as it is if you prefer. There we go. It looks quite moody at the moment, doesn't it? As if it's windy and everything's blowing in the wind. I quite like that effect. Okay, and down in this bit, I'm going to do some grass. For my grass, I'm just going to use my dark pencil lines. I'm going to do lots of little vertical lines. And I'm just going to fill up that area. So this is one way of translating grass, shape of grass, texture of grass as a pattern. And you can have some longer, some shorter pieces. They can all be uniform, be the same size. And like I say, I drew mine in pen first. When you finished this, you might, if you want to, this isn't something that we're expecting of you, particularly for the session, but if you want to, if you really enjoyed it and you want to develop the idea further, something that you can try using different things for. So pencil, when you've done it in pencil, maybe using pen, felt tip pens, crayons to get different patterns. I'm going to draw some, I think this area of my head from copying my original picture or taking inspiration from it. With Hockney's picture, it was like a red path, and there was just some slightly different colour variations very subtly within the path. So just to kind of mark that, to indicate that, I've just drawn a bit like a leopard print, so some quite wobbly oval shapes. And try not to overwhelm it as well, because obviously it's getting very busy. And we want to keep a little bit of negative white space. Remember a few weeks ago we did negative space, so that's the space around the image that has less pattern on. So try and leave a little bit on the picture, but it's very busy. There we go, and that could be like me, these kind of leopard prints, or you could do cheetah, leopard prints, or just some circles, however you want to show that. And then the line above, I think I'm going to do some more of these lines going across, or I'm just going to do some curved lines this time. So I'm just going to fill up this space here with some curved lines. So you'll, like I say, there might be a few areas, if you're following me, that you've left out. Might have simplified it slightly. If there's anything that you want to leave out, or like I say, do your own way, then that's very welcome. Do have a look at the Hockney images online if you can before you start though, and just get a feel for them, have a close look at the detail, look closely at how he's painted, at the different lines and marks, and think about how you could show that yourself in your drawing your way. There we go, it's looking really busy now. And like I say, it's quite busy, so I might leave the top as it is. There's quite a lot of white down the bottom. Like I say, that's good. I want a little bit of white space. I don't want to make everything too dark, but I think I'll, with mine, just do a little bit of smudging in the bottom area. Like that. So anywhere that you think could do with adding a bit more depth or dimension to, you can just smudge and then add anything that you please on. And I think, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So we've taken inspiration from Hockney's work, taken inspiration from 19th century metal engravings, and then put our personal input on it, and it created our own artworks, our own way. And like I say, do more than one, could put a few different spins on it if you have time and you fancy doing a bit more. I hope you've enjoyed this video anyway, guys, and I will see you later on today, and I can't wait to see what you've created. I'll see you then. Take care.